Good morning. Good morning. I really appreciate this opportunity to share with you more about the various needs in our Student Services and Student Affairs Department. If you could please take out from your folder, there's been some corrections to the budget information sheet. So the single sheet, what I'd like to do this morning is go over the position requests and give you a little bit of background so you have some information as you are doing your voting today. So similar to the situation that David just described in administrative services, our focus in student affairs is really to build the staffing infrastructure that is very much needed to continue supporting our students. In student services, we've had the same priorities since basically 2009. The order has changed a little bit, and some of that is because of compliance issues, but we've had the same position requests coming out of our program reviews since 2009. So for those of you that were here back then, we had a 59% enrollment growth between 2006 and 2011, with no new G-funded positions in our admissions area, our counseling area, student life area. We did get one position in financial aid, and that was from the legislature. Despite the recent enrollment decreases that Louis mentioned earlier, Student Affairs has had to absorb heavy increase in workload while trying to maintain the services. And as you'll see, all of our Student Affairs departments have been heavily relying on grant funds for a number of years to support these positions that provide basic support for all of our students. Okay, so our first priority is the counseling assistive tech position. So this position right now is grant funded. It's been grant funded for 7 years. So 7 years Perkins funded. This position works closely with our disabilities counselor, using technology to provide various accommodations for our students with disabilities. So you don't have this particular data point, I think, in your document, but when we first started with this grant in 2008, we had 102 students registered with disability services, and today we have 252. So that's a 147% increase in the number of students. Back then, in 2008, 12.7% of disability students used assistive tech, and now more than 24% of our disability students use this technology. So there's a need for it. The other point I don't think that's included in your document either is that the retention rate, the fall-to-fall persistence rate for students that use assistive technology is much higher than regular students. So it's varied over the last several years between 75 and 87% fall-to-fall persistence. So we've been doing some great work in that area, and we need your help in trying to institutionalize that position. The second priority that you have here is our financial aid default coordinator. So in the UH system, Maui has the highest student loan default rate. So the last cohort year, it was 26%, and we project that this next rate that is coming out, actually it should have come out I think yesterday, is closer to 30%. We should be at 29%. Now, when institutions reach a cohort default rate of 30%, you start to get federal sanctions. So we are very, very close. The first year that we hit 30%, we're required to implement a default management plan. If we hit 30% 2 years in a row, we could lose all of our Title IV funding. So that is Pell Grant, loans, that's all of our financial aid basically for students. So this is serious. We did write for a grant a couple of years ago, so we have a loan counselor right now, grant funded, that has been specifically targeting and working with our student loan borrowers. She's done some great work. Just this past year, 26 students were averted from default, and that may not sound like a lot, but because our loan volume is so low, 26 students can make a difference of about 5 percentage points. So our current default rate, like I said, was close to 30%. Our goal is to decrease our loan default rate to 20%, which is the national average for public two-year schools. And we think this is possible. You know, with some targeted efforts, we've identified some strategies, and we think we can, you know, we can make a significant impact if we can get this position funded. Our third priority that listed here is our first-year experience coordinator. This is kind of an expansion of our NSO. So many of you know we've been doing NSO, our new student orientation, for the last 6 or 7 years, and all of this has been grant funded for 6 years, or 7 years. It is the #1 priority for our Student Success Committee, and also we've had encouragement from our ATD coaches, our Achieving the Dream coaches, to expand and continue this service. Data for NSO, we have shown positive fall-to-fall persistence rates. The persistence rate has been 14% higher for Native Hawaiian students after we've implemented NSO versus prior. So 10% higher for non-Native Hawaiian students and 14% higher for Native Hawaiian. And our fourth priority is our transcript evaluator. So our transcript evaluator is also grant funded for the last 2 years. The funding expires very soon, September of 2015. So the number of transcript evaluations have increased significantly. So our baseline was 513 transcript evaluations done prior to hiring the transcript evaluator, and that's increased to 655 and then 746. So there's been a lot more proactive reaching out to students, earlier evaluations. We've also had significant increase in the number of certificates awarded, thanks to reverse transfer and auto-credentialing. We had a 21% increase in certificates between Fall 12 and Fall 13. And that's 700 compared to 578. So with the help of the transcript evaluator, we've been able to make some significant increases in those completion rates. So I do want to say something about the first 3 priorities up here. These top 3 priorities are a little bit different from the other priorities that we're talking about this morning. During the summer, they were already vetted through the Strategic Planning Council, and they were already vetted through the budget committees. And we did receive overwhelming support for these positions during the summer. The group looked at areas like compliance, critical service to the campus and program, how broad the impact is on students, and how broad the impact is on the college, and also looked at how these priorities align with the UHCC strategic plan. So we did receive support for these positions, and our FYE coordinator position is currently in recruitment, a temporary position, but we still need your support and your votes to actually institutionalize and make these positions actually happen. So please keep that in mind. We also have some additional emerging needs. I want to talk about our 5th priority for student assistance. So the request from our departments, our admissions, counseling, financial aid, and student life, is that we are able to provide at least 1 student assistant for each area so that they know that they have this support. Currently, our budget for student employment is not enough to cover even 1 student assistant in the area. So that's a need that came out of their requests. Also, a recruiter. So right now, our outreach efforts are very fragmented, right? So we have outreach happening in pockets because we have a number of different federal programs who are helping us with outreach, but we don't have like a comprehensive recruitment outreach plan. And so we're requesting support for a recruiter to help us with that. We've been getting, feedback from high school counselors, especially local high school counselors, for a number of years on why we don't have like a single point of contact, for them to reach out to. So we'd like to make that happen. Our 7th priority here, Native Hawaiian counselor. So data shows that 32% of our fall enrollment is Native Hawaiian, and over 50% of the dropout population is Native Hawaiian. And retention rate for Native Hawaiian students significantly lower than other students. So 34% retention rate compared to 43% for non-Native Hawaiians. We also have a student life clerical assistance up here as a need. As you know, our student life office is a one-person program. In addition to developing and implementing, the various activities and programs like NSO, campus tours, those things, Student Life also has to handle all of their own procurement for not only their departments, but for other groups. There's 21 campus clubs, so when campus clubs want to buy anything, purchase anything, or request for funding, all of that kind of procurement has to go through the Student Life Coordinator. In addition, we have formerly the Wellness Center, which is UH Maui Fit, 11 casual hires, so all of the timesheets, all of that kind of processing is all done by one person in Student Life. And we really need some assistance, I think, clerical assistance in processing those. And finally, our retention counselor. So retention, much like recruitment, is fragmented right now with no comprehensive retention plan. And as you all know, we do have a campus academic probation policy, but that policy really is not being monitored right now. There's no follow-up with students. There's no structured way to follow up with the students who are academically deficient. So our goal is to have someone that can kind of oversee that process. We were successful in getting a grant-funded position starting 2015, so we are in recruitment for a retention coordinator right now. And that grant, I think, will take us into 2018. So because of that reason, the retention counselor kind of fell towards the bottom of our list because we did just secure the funding for that. I did want to mention, of the assistive tech, which is our #1 request, that grant fund actually expires in June of 2015, so that's right around the corner. Well, I think that's it for my part. Again, thank you very much for listening. I know the main goal was to give you a little bit of background about what each position means and what what it's all about, so that it'll help you as you prioritize a little later today. Thank you.